All right, let's dive into cultural connection today. We've got some interesting stuff to explore. We've got some pieces from Orange Coach. It's an article called Cultural Connection, and also a video with students from Bond University in Australia.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be looking at the practical side of things, like how to navigate new cultures. But also, we'll dig into the deeper personal impact that these experiences can have. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think Orange Coach will give us that really practical advice.
Mm.
And then the Bond University video, those stories, I think they're going to offer a glimpse into, how powerful these kinds of exchanges can be, especially for someone like you, who is always, eager to learn and explore.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Why does cultural connection even matter?
Okay.
Orange Coach starts with a pretty powerful quote.
Okay.
It's from an author, Leila Gifty Akita. She says, appreciation of cultural diversity is essential for our coexistence. It's like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's really important because it shows how, our world is so interconnected. Like, understanding and appreciating different cultures, it isn't just like a nice thing to do, It's essential for building bridges and working together and thriving together.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Think about it this way. You love to travel and experience new places,
Yeah.
right? Imagine if you could truly understand, the people and the customs, the history.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that make your travels even richer?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about travel, right?
Right.
Like Orange Coach makes this great point about personal growth.
Okay.
That comes from stepping outside our comfort zones, and encountering different perspectives. They talk about how it expands our knowledge.
Yeah.
It makes us more socially intelligent, maybe even boosts our creativity.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you agree that's a pretty compelling reason to embrace these kinds of connections?
I think you're exactly right. And it's fascinating how Orange Coach sort of digs into the psychology of culture.
Oh, interesting.
They remind us that even though humans, biologically, we're very similar, our thoughts and beliefs, they're shaped by our experiences.
Yeah.
And the cultures that we grow up in.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever encountered a custom or belief that just seemed strange at first? But then once you kind of understood the context, the cultural context, it made sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember this one time.
Yeah.
I was traveling in Southeast Asia, and I was, so used to direct eye contact being a sign of respect.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular culture, it was actually considered almost aggressive or challenging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I kept trying to make eye contact with people, thinking I was being polite,
Mm.
but it was actually having the opposite effect. I
Wow.
totally misread the situation.
Wow.
It was a real learning experience, though. I
Right.
realized how important it is to approach new cultures with, an open mind.
Yeah.
And not just assume that what's normal for me is normal for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Just because something's different doesn't mean it's wrong. Right. It's about understanding, the why behind the what.
Totally.
And, it's not always about agreeing with everything. It's more about just respecting, different viewpoints, even if you don't show them.
Yeah, I think that's so key. Okay, well, you know what? I'm ready for some practical advice.
Yeah.
Like, what are some top tips from Orange Coach? That would be really helpful.
They've got some good ones. Like learning just a few basic greetings in the local language.
Okay.
It can go a long way. Imagine arriving in a new city and just being able to say hello and thank you in their language.
Yeah,
It just makes you feel more connected and welcomed.
totally.
They also really, they highly recommend walking tours
Oh, yeah.
as a way to really immerse yourself in a new environment.
I love walking tours. They're the best way to just discover those little hidden gems
Yeah.
and get a feel for, the local vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I remember once.
Oh, tell me.
I was in Prague, and, it was one of those free walking tours, they have. And the guide was amazing. He took us to these, secret courtyards
Yeah.
and told us all these stories about, alchemists and ghosts. And
Ooh, spooky.
yeah, it was so much fun. And it really brought the city to life for me,
It's like history comes alive,
Exactly.
It's not just in a textbook anymore.
Exactly. And speaking of practicalities, Orange Coach also stresses the importance of getting local currency
Right.
and using ATMs safely, especially for someone who might be traveling solo.
Yeah, that's important.
And they suggest, traveling with a buddy.
Yeah.
Or using location sharing for safety, no matter where you are.
Absolutely.
Right.
Safety first. Okay. Can we talk about food?
Yes.
Orange Coach brought up a great point about food, about how it connects us across cultures.
Oh, for sure. Food. Yeah. They said even though the ingredients are different, every country has one thing in common, a love for food and sharing meals with others. It's so true, isn't it?
Hmm.
Food's so much more than just fuel,
Yeah.
It connects us to like memories, our heritage, each other. I bet you being interested in health and performance, you probably found their suggestion about incorporating international cuisines into your meal plan pretty intriguing.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
love trying new foods. It's like, it's a delicious way to explore, right?
Yeah, it's like a cultural exploration right on your plate.
Exactly.
So speaking of exploring, I think it's time that we hear from those Bond University students.
Okay.
They offer some really compelling personal insights into this impact of connecting with other cultures, and I think their stories are going to resonate with you.
All right. I'm ready to be inspired. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first up we have Synod.
Okay.
Her story is really powerful. She was the first in her family to graduate, and she credits Bond's supportive community with helping her achieve that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really speaks volumes,
Mm.
about the power of having that support, especially when you're in a new situation or facing challenges.
Absolutely.
And Sinead specifically mentions her professors and tutors. They went above and beyond to support her, celebrate her achievements, and even get excited about her job offers.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just the beautiful example of how, this kind of connection, this cultural connection, can create like a ripple effect of positive impact.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Daniel, who had a unique experience connecting with the Nyambil Indigenous Support Center at Bond. This center provides a sense of belonging and support specifically for Indigenous students. Daniel talks about how crucial financial aid and community are, for student success, especially for those from diverse backgrounds.
It's so important to have those resources and support systems in place so that everyone has a real chance to succeed.
Absolutely. And remember, Daniel's from Darwin
Okay.
in the Northern Territory. So for him, coming to Bond was like a big cultural shift.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really a testament to the university's commitment to creating, an inclusive environment where everyone feels welcome.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. And finally, we have Rodrigo, who speaks about the just the incredible diversity he encountered at Bond. He says that, even though everyone comes from different backgrounds, there's this like amazing sense of shared experience
Yeah.
and belonging.
Yeah, love that.
It really reinforces this idea that connection can happen anywhere, even in the most, unexpected places. Sometimes it's the differences that bring us together.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm hearing from all these stories is how like cultural connection, it builds confidence
Yeah.
and it prepares us to engage with the world in this more and more meaningful way.
You're picking up on a crucial theme here.
Yeah.
Both Orange Coach and the Bond University students, they emphasize, stepping outside our comfort zones
Right.
and embracing new experiences. Orange Coach even uses this great quote, "Travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer."
Ooh. I love that. Investing in experiences.
Yeah.
It's investing in yourself and your growth
Yeah.
and your understanding of the world.
And the Bond University video, it kind of echoes that by highlighting how their experience there gave them like the confidence to enter the real world and professional work life.
Yeah.
It's about, equipping individuals with the skills and the perspectives and the confidence to really navigate, this diverse world
Right.
that's so interconnected.
It's really inspiring to see how these experiences can empower people and like broaden their horizons.
Before we move on, I just wanted to touch on something else Orange Coach mentioned
Okay.
about preparing for a trip.
Oh, yeah.
They had some really practical tips, especially about health and safety while traveling.
Yes.
They stressed things like carrying a scanned copy of your passport on your phone
Okay.
and leaving a copy of your passport and credit card information with like a trusted source at home, just in case there's an emergency.
Yeah.
They also reminded us to double check our insurance coverage and make sure we have enough medication if we're going abroad.
Those are such good reminders. It's easy to forget those things when you're like caught up in the excitement of planning a trip.
Yeah.
But taking the time to prepare can really make a difference.
Yeah.
And it lets you actually enjoy the experience, knowing that you've got everything covered.
Exactly. It goes back to being like an advocate for yourself. Being prepared is taking care of yourself and making sure you have the best possible experience no matter where you go.
I'm feeling pretty inspired by all this. What about you?
Definitely. It's a good reminder, Hey everyone, and welcome back. You ever get that feeling, like overwhelmed by like the sheer number of movies out there?
Totally. It could be like trying to pick a single star out of the entire night sky.
Exactly, and that's kind of what we're tackling today in our deep dive. We've got two film websites, but they're like totally different approaches to helping you, I don't know, find your way through the cinematic galaxy, I guess.
I think that's a great way to put it. Two different lenses for viewing that same vast landscape.
Okay, cool. So our first stop is, well, it's actually on a parenting website, believe it or not.
Oh, that's unexpected.
Right. But hear me out. It's